Hi, thanks for watching today's video. I'm Brian, the Finance Ninja. Something changed between this video and my previous ones. Comment down below if you know what it is. If you get it right, I'll like your post. If you get it wrong, I'll also like your post. I don't want to waste your time, so let's get to it. In today's video, we're talking about Palantir and their closest competitor, C3.AI. So Alex, what do you think about your biggest competitor?
Foundry is objectively the best commercial software product in the world.
Well, that's nice, but it didn't answer the question. Don't worry, Alex, I'll take it from here. What does Palantir do? Palantir helps their clients collect, visualize, and analyze huge amounts of data. There is a data analysis and AI layer on top that helps in the decision making. Next up is C3.AI. What does C3.AI do? C3.AI describes its tools as those that provide access to data without data science training to rapidly perform data science tasks. I know what you're thinking. That's the same thing, and I agree. But there are some concrete differences between the two companies. Let's get into it. So, Palantir versus C3.AI. Both of these companies have a lot in common, but have a lot of differences as well. In today's video, we will compare their CEOs, their software, their financials, and their business operations. The first thing I want to get out of the way before I dig into the meat is that it is extremely difficult to get meaningful data out of either of these companies. Both are very secretive on the specifics of the software, how it works, its capabilities, etc. Both companies speak in very broad terms. It took me a long time to compile this information, so please like and subscribe. It helps me produce more content like this. Also, please consider joining my Patreon, where you can get early access to my videos, instant trade notifications, access to my spreadsheets, and more. The link is in the description. Let's start with the CEOs. C3.AI's Tom Siebel worked at Oracle, then started Siebel Systems. Siebel Systems made CRM software. He sold Siebel Systems to Oracle, his former employer, which is where he made his billions. Tom started C3.AI in 2011. Alex Karp got his BA at Harvard College, JD at Stanford University, and PhD at Gotham University, Frankfurt. Alex co-founded Palantir with Peter Thiel in 2004. Let's compare and contrast each company's software. Well, mostly compare. Here's a screenshot from C3.AI's software for energy. And here's a screenshot from Palantir's Foundry for the supply chain archetype. Doesn't seem too much different. Let's watch a few clips to see the software in action, starting with C3.AI's energy management solutions.
The application homepage provides real-time visibility and a rich set of AI-based insights for energy, facility, and sustainability managers and executives. Users can see all relevant AI alerts and project recommendations, including time-sensitive concerns such as predicted peak demand events and more strategic cost and emission reduction opportunities such as HVAC upgrades or solar panel installations. Executives and managers can see anticipated costs, savings, and payback periods for each recommendation. Evidence screens show users the basis for AI recommendations and indicate their importance. Managers can choose to convert a recommendation directly into a project to help achieve the organization's broader sustainability and energy efficiency goals. Project details are pre-populated from the AI recommendation. C3.AI Energy Management employs advanced AI techniques for comprehensive project tracking and accurate cost savings and emissions reduction verification. Within a project, managers can track financial metrics, primary resources, cash flows, and other supporting analyses in a single workflow. Users can perform additional analyses on facility or asset-specific pages. In these pages, users view time series analytics, compare performance to peers and third-party benchmarks, complete a virtual building audit, and track projects and facility-level sustainability and energy goals. The Goal Details page presents emissions reductions and cost savings by project category. Users can analyze what-if scenarios and manage individual projects via drag-and-drop project cards. The Global Energy Flow Diagram provides holistic visibility into greenhouse gas emissions. Energy and sustainability executives can monitor individual emission types, review the operational footprint of emissions, and trace origins back to primary resources in a single view. As a full-service AI application, C3.AI Energy Management lets users easily add and manage facilities, meters, billing accounts, goals, projects, and alerts.
Now for Palantir, I'm going to show you a notional example video of Gotham that was released just a few days ago.
The South China Sea is heating
Vladimir
up.
Putin tells the U.S. to
A
back
North
off.
Korean nuclear attack could be
Tensions
imminent.
between the U.S. and Iran are at an
near Taiwan as tensions escalate.
Now that the focus is shifting to great power competition, the real question is, can we deter the next Great War? As a notional example, an escalation could start with something as simple as the Chinese military conducting a routine exercise in the South China Sea. To see the full picture and make tactical, operational, and strategic decisions, the U.S. and allied forces rely on Palantir. Monitoring the exercise, AI models running on satellite data detect an increased level of military activity. To the north, ship detection models identify an alarming buildup of fishing vessels surrounding a major Taiwanese port. An activity model detects that many of those ships are tied together, suggesting an ulterior motive and increasing the risk of a blockade. The U.S. maintains a national interest in free trade throughout the South China Sea. And as an island only 90 miles off the coast of mainland China, Taiwan is especially reliant on freedom of navigation through international waters. This free trade is particularly critical given that Taiwan produces 80% of the world's semiconductors. The device you're watching this on today almost certainly relies on these parts. Any disruption could be disastrous. So as the team watches closely with partner nations, a new alert comes in from Japanese intelligence. The Chinese Luoyang destroyer has gone dark and isn't showing up on intelligence feeds. The ship had previously been docked at a southern naval base, but AI models detect that it's now missing. Gotham fuses data from multiple sources to project likely paths for the Luoyang. The most dangerous routes head east, towards both the military exercise and the mounting tensions outside the Taiwanese port. The analyst identifies a key fork to monitor between the routes. To collect more imagery, machine learning models built by academic and commercial partners run on data across all domains. The models determine that satellite coverage alone is not enough to find the ship. Based on what is capable and ready, the system recommends a few alternatives. The best option is an aircraft from Okinawa. Before finalizing the selection, analysts deploy the latest micromodels trained to avoid incoming threats, identify military equipment, and detect military ships. The unmanned aircraft receives its mission and prepares for takeoff. Time is ticking, and they need to find the ship quickly. As the aircraft departs, video streams back to headquarters in real time. A ship identification model detects the dimensions, speed, and weapon system of the destroyer headed north. An analyst back in the operations center verifies the detection, which confirms the Luoyang is on the most dangerous path and is only a few hours away from the potential blockade. The commander is briefed on the fast developing situation and examines several human and machine-generated courses of action that have been jointly tested and developed in past exercises and simulations. The first option involves sending reinforcements to a nearby base, which may take too long. The second option is to send a manned aircraft over the fishing vessels, which could introduce unnecessary risk. The third option is a freedom of navigation operation, which means positioning an American or allied ship closer to the developing situation. This option appears to have the highest probability of success with the lowest risk. Joint forces decide to task an American ship. Once the choice is selected, a task order is submitted, and the American ship quickly alters course. The team watches closely as the operation progresses, and as the American ship approaches, the fishing vessel blockade begins to disband, and the Luoyang continues north without incident.
C3.AI is an enterprise pure play, meaning they don't really do much government contracts. That's probably the biggest difference between the companies. The biggest software differentiator for C3.AI that I could find is that they have a CRM tool built on top of Microsoft Dynamics 365. Note, though, that Microsoft is an investor in C3.AI. As you can see, the CRM is geared towards financial services, new energy, telecom, manufacturing, public sector, intelligence, defense, aerospace, utilities, automotive, and healthcare. That's a lot of fields. Let's look at telecommunications. C3 can help with revenue forecasting, customer churn, next best offer, product forecasting, customer engagement, custom activation and onboarding, case management, and call center deflection, and bill management. Whereas Palantir lends their services to others or do partnerships, like integration into IBM's Watson. The IBM Watson partnership is designed to support businesses looking to maximize the value of vast amounts of data, including those in retail, financial services, manufacturing, healthcare, and telecommunications. Palantir's biggest differentiator is not only do they have Foundry for commercial use, they also have Gotham for military use. It is used to save lives. As you can see in the image, Gotham located hostiles via a drone using AI and located their blind spots for a safe exit from the embassy. The benefit of serving commercial and the government is if one sector slows down, the other one can pick up the slack, which happened last year. Let's go into their financials. How does C3.AI stack up to Palantir? C3.AI is down over 50% from their high, market cap of $6.11 billion, current price $50.90, down from a high of $183.90. Palantir is also down significantly from their high, 52-week high of $45, current price $25.45, market cap of $47.7 billion, so C3.AI is clearly the underdog here. C3.AI price per sales is 17.91. Palantir with a price per sales of 38.31. Is Palantir worth the higher multiple? Comment down below. Do you think Palantir is worth the higher multiple over C3.AI? C3.AI in 2021 logged $183.22 million in revenue, earnings of negative $55.7 million. You can see a nice jump from 2019 to 2020, but 2020 to 2021 saw a noticeable decline in their growth rate. Let's dig into this in a second. Palantir in 2020 notched over $1 billion in revenue. Don't pay the 2020 earnings too much attention. They are mostly stock compensation for going public. For C3.AI, revenue jumped 26% last quarter. That's alright if they were the industry leader, but unfortunately they are not. Palantir, on the other hand, leapt 49% year-over-year in revenues, mostly due to the government contracts. So Palantir is actually growing faster than C3.AI, although they are also bigger. Back to C3.AI. As a scrappy underdog, their numbers need to be better. But there is something odd here. Look at that increase in customer count. See the difference between that and revenue growth? Let's dig into that. C3.AI went from 49 customers to 89 customers year over year, an 82% increase. FY20 Q4 revenue, $41.6 million. FY21 Q4 revenue, $52.3 million. FY20 Q4 revenue per customer then is $849,000. FY21 Q4 revenue per customer thus is only $588,000. That is a significant decline. That means that per customer revenue declined $261,000 year over year, a 30.7% decline. You want these numbers to go up, not down, especially when you're very small compared to your competitor. You need to be a scrappy underdog, outperforming the bigger guy by having better year over year comps, not worse. C3.AI has very small customers in relation to Palantir, I mean in size, not count. During the same period, Palantir's revenue per customer increased from $6.3 million to $8.1 million year over year, a 29% increase. C3's revenue per customer declined. Palantir's revenue per top 20 customers increased 34% from $27 million to $36.1 million. That's the direction you want to go. A very large portion of C3.AI's revenues comes from Baker Hughes. The Baker Hughes contract is worth $450 million over a 5-year period. C3.AI had already received $47 million at the time of the IPO. Last but not least, let's look at the business segments, customers, goals, etc. Basically, where are they targeting to drive growth? C3.AI got their start in the energy sector, Palantir in the military sector. C3.AI has one major client, Baker Hughes, and a number of small clients. Palantir derives half of their revenue from the government. C3.AI is a turnkey software company. This is different from Palantir, which often creates customized solutions. Palantir, on the other hand, is targeting very large clients with big war chests, Fortune 500 companies, and the government. Palantir even goes to the step of making per-customer customizations. Like in this deal inked just a few days ago, Origin will use Palantir software to help other companies focus on decarbonizing the global materials supply chain. In other words, Origin will bring not just themselves, but other clients onto Foundry. Let's look at that IBM deal again. IBM's Watson customers will be using Foundry as well. Basically, IBM will be putting their customers onto Foundry. Palantir is on a market share grab right now. Even though they own the majority share, they are intent on getting as much of the remaining market as possible. These products are extremely sticky. Once you're on it, it is very difficult to get off. It is costly and very time-consuming. That is why it is very important to get as many customers on board as possible in this very early stage. So while there are some similarities, the differences between these companies are vast. C3.AI needs to work on their growth. They need to be growing faster than Palantir, not slower. So for me, Palantir is my choice at the moment for AI plays. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.